I learned that phrase "down with."
Who did you learn that from?
Well, all the hip hop people use that phrase.
And did you know that if you tell somebody to sit up or sit down, they end up in the same position?
Wow. But I think it's humbling for
Yeah,
you to be down there like that.
yeah, yeah.
It's a rare show of humility on your part. Refreshing for our viewers.
And with that, welcome to episode 16 of the Not So Serious Life. Jason Goldberg looking up to Steve Chandler for our 16th episode, and now you are looking down upon me. I am trying to show a visual of how quickly we can go from being down to being up
Wow.
by just choosing to be up.
Excellent,
Isn't that
Jason.
great? I've been working on that visual for weeks. Did it work? Was it powerful?
That is unforgettable. Unforgettable vision.
All right, fantastic. We are back for episode number 16, and Steve's getting like, you're like just chilling. You're like,
Ready. Where's the question? I'm
Okay.
ready.
I gotta tell you real quick. I went to a party over the weekend, and they had pizza as an appetizer. And any place, any party that has pizza as an appetizer, anybody in our network here that's watching that has a party with pizza as an appetizer, invite me, and I will be there.
You know, that's funny. I went to breakfast Sunday morning, and there was a person there who has seen our show, and she brought me a little box of Fruit Loops and handed it to me silently, just as an acknowledgement of our show.
That's amazing.
Well, it was great.
And look at the box that we have for the question this week. It's
I'm getting
perfect.
goosebumps, man.
Is that really a true story?
It's a true story.
Oh, that is so friggin'
I've got
cool.
3 witnesses.
I got pulled over the other day for speeding, and I told the officer I'm from the Not So Serious Life, and I got bailed out in like 3 hours. It was really good.
Oh, I'm going to use that.
Oh, this! I wish you could smell these. They smell so good.
Yeah, but I can't.
God. Kellogg, seriously, like
We're not going to let children watch this show after all.
that's what it is. Steve, you just solved it. If we could prove to Kellogg's we had a kid demographic, we would get the sponsorship.
We don't. People keep kids away
Yeah.
because of how not so healthy your eating habits are. And I don't say that in a judgmental way.
No, not never.
It's a pure observation.
The Not So Healthy Life,
The Not So Healthy Life, starring Jason Goldberg.
starring Jason Goldberg and his cholesterol. All right. So today's question is anonymous. Anytime my spouse and I have a disagreement, it turns into a blaming match. Is that a certain kind of sport, blaming? How can I stop that? Anytime my spouse and I have a disagreement, it turns into a blaming match. How can I stop that? Okay.
Why don't you go first? Because I'm looking for something here.
Okay. All right. Well, you look for something, and I'll talk. So, I don't think typically people argue and blame each other. I think that's a job for the ego, right? So when my wife tells me that I've done something that she doesn't like, which rarely happens more than 7 or 8 times a week, I really try to slow myself down and ask, how could that be true? Right? It may not be true. Whatever she's voicing may not be true, but it's her reality, it's her experience of it. And if I can tap into what that experience is for her and really, love her for trusting me to share it with me and really getting clear on what she's experiencing and on the agreements that we can set going forward, then it makes things a lot better. So my belief is that people don't want us to be hurt, right? That nobody that we love at least wants us to be hurt. They just want to be loved. And so sometimes that comes out as blame because it's like, I'm hurt and I want you to love me out of it, right? And so this whole blame thing, this whole getting into a blame thing, I get it because I've been there too. And what's been so helpful for Alicia and I is to really slow things down and say, how could that be true? What you're saying, how could that be true? And then to stop living from expectations and instead start living from agreements. And I'd love to, before you answer, Steve, do you mind if we give people the audio the amazing audio you did on expectations versus agreements?
No, that would be wonderful.
Okay, cool. So if you're on the Inner Circle list, then the email that you got this morning with this link will have a link to download that audio. And I have a worksheet that I made also about expectations and co-creations or agreements, that if you're having these kinds of issues in your relationships, sit down and do this for yourself and maybe with your partner as well. And the audio with the worksheet together could be really helpful. So, Steve, what do you got?
Well, I love what Byron Katie says. Defense is the first act of war. So if someone blames me and starts one of these arguments or talks, I don't have to defend myself and fight back and push back. I can listen, and I can listen, and I can listen, and I can tell the person I'm listening, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm taking it in, and I understand. I'm really hearing how they feel about this. I don't have to pretend I agree. I don't have to wimp out, but I can listen. I don't have to push back. I don't have to argue. I don't have to disagree. That's optional. And people think somehow if someone blames them or says something, they have to just jump in and start defending themselves, and they don't. And if you'll practice it a little bit, it can be a very effective way to make a relationship good. Now here's another thing I recommend very strongly, and I don't remember who wrote this book, but it really helps people. 50 ways to create great relationships. Oh, there's the author's name.
Oh, man, I know that guy.
Okay, so, and this book talks a lot about not what can I get, how can I defend myself, how do I prove to her that she's wrong about me, who's right, who's wrong. Anytime I get into I'm right, you're wrong, the relationship suffers. And so I decide ahead of time that any relationship I'm in, if someone's going to blame me or criticize me, I know ahead of time I'm not going to push back.
Wow, and that goes back to what we were talking about too in a previous episode about being an owner versus being a victim, right? To really own your response, to not just react. I've something's hit me, they're blaming me, I have to defend myself. But to really be an owner in the situation and say, okay, I'm going to step back, I'm going to slow down in this and see what's really going on.
Yeah, and somebody blaming me for something is not so serious. A lot of people think that's the most serious thing in the world, that anyone would criticize me. And no, it's not serious at all. It's just somebody saying some words.
Yep.
Worth considering.
Yeah. Yeah, and isn't it in a way if somebody blames you, aren't they almost kind of telling you this is what would make me happy instead?
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to really serve and to deepen a relationship. Every objection, every blame, every fight is an opportunity to build a relationship even more deeply. And that goes for professional relationships too, right?
Yes. How seriously do I want to take myself? How seriously do I want to take this conversation? And how much do I just want to be a fool? And the degree of seriousness is the degree of foolishness, and the degree of how much of a fool are you willing to be inside this relationship.
Absolutely. Wow, I love that. Okay, awesome. So there is the A to your Q about your spouse and your blaming match. Just don't do it. Get this book, 50 Ways to Create Great Relationships. If the person who, you make it so loving. If the person who asked this question messages us to get a copy of this book, can we get them a copy of the book?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I love that. I think it would be very helpful. Cool. So with that is the end of episode number 16 of the Not So Serious Life. Guys, you are rocking it with the questions, and please and thank you for all the love. Continue to share this with people in your world that need to hear it. Continue to come back with us every day and laugh and learn and have fun. Because, Steve, we're having fun, right? This is, this is a lot of fun.
Fun.
All right, cool. So for Steve Chandler and Jason Goldberg,
oh man, look how crazy you are.
I am foolish as they come.
You have absolute freedom.
I'm free. Have a great day, guys. See you soon.
Bass.